So let me tell you something. There's a lot of dumb people in the world. And whilst I'm not going to, portray myself as any sort of intelligent or, high in the IQ range person, I ain't that dumb. Because there's a lot of people, according to Joe Rogan, actually, who said it the best, that there's a lot of people with 12-volt brains out there who don't think at all. And when you have a lot of dumb people, it's very, very easy to... Hold on a second. Let me just write something. It's very, very easy to actually convince them of stuff. Convince them of doing stuff. And one such way of convincing people is, for example, telling them that the climate is going to destroy planet Earth. Climate changes are going to destroy planet Earth, so that's why we have to act now. Whilst totally ignoring the fact that climate change, well, number one, there's always been climate change. Number two, climate change is very, very complex. Since it's always been around, it's always going to be around. And number three, it ain't as straightforward as it's being laid out to be in the news media. Meaning, if you have a bunch of cars driving on the tarmac, it doesn't help the climate if you chain yourself to the tarmac and you refuse to leave and you block the traffic. That doesn't help at all. That just creates annoyance. So, one such chap who I saw was part of some group, some activist group, organizing like a protest or like an event. The group chained themselves onto the tarmac, right in the middle of, right in the middle of the city center in the capital area, or I don't think it was on the highway, I think it was in the city center, and effectively blocked the traffic, which caused traffic jams. Right? Very, very inconvenient. And obviously, well, people couldn't drive over them, obviously, so they had to stop and call the police, obviously. Now, if that had happened in some other country, in some third world country, I suspect that these people might have gotten driven over, really, because that's what a lot of people do there when there's an obstacle in traffic. So anyway, one of these chaps who was partaking in this protest, or activists, excuse me, that's not the word I wanted to use. Well, let's just go with protest. One of these chaps was given a fine. He was also the father of a son. He couldn't pay the fine because he made so little money. So, first of all, he refused to pay the fine. When the police gives you a fine, you can either pay it right there and then, or you can refuse to, and the police will take you to court, and you effectively are given a criminal record. And so that's what happened. He said, "No, I'm not paying the fine." The police took him to court. He had to show up in court. He was sentenced, and had to pay the fine. And he also received a criminal record. So now he's a convicted felon. And here's his idea of what he was going to do with this fine or this court ruling. Hey, I'm going to suspend that up on my wall, and I'm going to show that to my son so that he can see who his father was. This is my father who fought for the climate by chaining himself onto the tarmac, blocking the traffic, and receiving a fine. You think his son's playmates are going to be impressed by that? I guarantee you almost that's going to be a way for them to bully this poor kid in school. Because it's just so dumb. You don't fight the climate by blocking traffic and by refusing to pay the fine. That's not how you combat climate change. That's not how you work on saving humanity, in air quotes. if you're afraid of climate change. But there are so many people who are gullible and who don't believe that. And that's precisely my point. The real loser here isn't the guy, really, because, well, he is a loser. But the the innocent loser is of course his son. Imagine having to grow up with that. Growing up in the household, hearing how you should chain yourself to the tarmac because that's important. No, you shouldn't. That's dangerous, and you could get killed because somebody lost their patience and ran you over. That's what could potentially happen. Anyway, point being, with respect to persuasion, there's a lot of dumb people, and it's very, very easy to take advantage of such people. And look at the harm and the damage that so many of these people can cause. That's why I address people who are skeptics, because they are more proper and analytical in their ways. And they want to think twice or thrice or 4 times before making a decision. Anyway, if you want to learn more, get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is below the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this. And I'll see you there.